And can someone talk to let's say our team has, let's say, three different stories to work on, right? How does that practically work, right? If those three stories are being worked on concurrently, what's happening? What's happening with the setup?
I'll jump in for a second. So first of all, you have three different groups in that case. And in our case, we're using Zoom. So we'd have three different breakout rooms. So there's a couple things. Every morning, our team gets together for a not a meeting in the morning. We call it the not a meeting. It's a meeting. But we sort of talk, we ask if there's any questions, we ask for clarification, we coordinate with, so we're working with a customer and we have to coordinate some things with them in terms of like when they're going to be available to go through things and so on. But part of what we do when we're doing work is and this was in the previous one, we use decision trees, we break things down and we're trying to break things down in a way that allows us to do them small, incrementally, but also independently. So those three stories, hopefully they've been selected in a way that they're not likely to step on each other's toes. But if they do, it's not as much of an issue because, I'm probably going to be merging to trunk every 5 to 10 minutes. And so implicit in that is, I've got automated tests. They run sufficiently fast that I can switch off. And so there's a lot of other stuff going on here. On the previous slide, we have continuous learning and continuous integration of ideas, but an idea is only as good as its confirmation. And so if you have no feedback on those ideas, then they're just ideas, and ideas are cheap. Actionable ideas are much different. And so I worked on something, I've got automated tests, it's in the system, we're ready to go. And if I have to go to what Paige said, I have on more than one occasion figured out what was going on because I could look at the tests, right? And so everyone's leaving an electronic, actionable, executing paper trail of what's going on and what's true or not true about the system. So there's a lot of supporting behaviors that go around this.
And is
I
there a
might have a
manager?
different take on that,
Go
Josh.
for it. Yeah.
And
Go
that,
for it, Josh.
I don't know that I would want the three stories in progress simultaneously.
Hmm.
Sometimes we take stories and subdivide them. Like if you're talking about a user story with a complete slice of value and it's a web application, you have a front end and a back end. We would split into two mobs that would handle front and back end, but we'd always, whenever it came to any integration touch points, we would always jump on the other call or jump in the other breakout session and work as an entire mob to get through those integration points in real time and go back to what we're doing. I would prefer that we worked on the whole story as a whole unit,
Hmm.
and not switch between back and front end. But sometimes I found, and I know that there are people on the call that will disagree with this, but I found that mobs that are much larger than 5 tend to be harder for me as a coach and as a developer to manage and work in. I like them to be 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah.
And so the particular group I was with at that Fortune 20 company that we were all at before, it was two mobs. We had a front end mob and a back end mob, but our roles, all the developers were, even though they didn't start out as full stack developers, we switched back and forth between mobs on a regular basis until everybody could write in Angular and everybody could write in Java. And we had the stuff that Brett talked about at the beginning of the call in terms of accelerated learning.
Right.
But I would try and limit the whip, is all I'm saying.